I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Because I'm having fun. Bruins friends, it is time to hug it out. Because that is a 3-0 victory over the Minnesota Wild. Welcome back down into the den, everybody. And I say this with no hint of exaggeration, no hyperbole, nothing. This was the most fun game of Bruins hockey all season. There are plenty of games that I have said, oh, this is the best game in this season. Immediately what comes to mind is the game that the Bruins played against the Leafs in January of 22-23, where freaking Allmark made a save with his freaking arm, and Bruins just and it was just so much fun watching that game. This was that game for this season. But before we get into how fun this game was, I'm going to need you all to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We're closing in on 100 subs, folks. Putting out more shorts, maybe putting out more hockey content. We're going to have a fun time, and I want you guys to be here for it. So, this game has a lot going into it. First of all, we got some fantastic news. Mark Kastelic is back in the lineup. Vinny Lettieri has been sent back down to Providence. And Kastelic, this game, he wasn't very noticeable. Honestly, the fourth line as a whole wasn't very noticeable, which is kind of a far cry from the start of the season. Wow. Remember when the fourth line was like the only line that we had that was worth a damn? Now it's back to being just a regular NHL fourth line. Secondly, the Wild have two key absences. First is Ryan Hartman for shoving Tim Stützle into the ice off a face-off, and he is being suspended 10 games. Guess he was really into that Kendrick because his man treated Stützle like...
That fuck 'em up.
And how many games did you get suspended for, Hartman?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5, 8.
So Hartman, with his 5th suspension of his career, I swear to God, people are overstating how much they hate Brad Marchand because goddamn, Ryan Hartman is just as bad as Marshy was in his prime. It's just without face licking. Second is Kirill Kaprizov, and all right, fine. Pat Quinn. I know that he was a heavily influential coach. I know that he did a lot of great for this league. Easily the biggest black eye of his entire coaching career was inventing the phrase upper body and lower body injury. Because Kirill Kaprizov is out for minimum the next 4 weeks recovering from a lower body surgery. Here's the thing. I get that hockey, probably more than any other sport, is one that relies heavily on the mental game. It's easily the sport where a change of scenery means the most. It's easily the sport in which locker room chemistry means the most. And it's easily the sport in which coaches try to play probably the most mind games. The only other sport that really rivals it is football. With how every single coach covers their mouth like this with their playbook just to make sure that it doesn't get televised. So I can understand the place that describing injuries as merely upper body or lower body with no further elaboration, I can understand the place that has in strategy. The frustrating part is that because it's only listed as upper body or lower body, nobody knows the severity of it, and as a result, we only know what we're told. We don't know how much pain players are skating through on any given night. And so I hope Kaprizov recovers well, but it's frustrating to say the least. And lastly is something that hits at the heart of everybody who has ever considered themselves a fan of this sport. Marc-Andre Fleury playing his last game at TD Garden. Not his last game ever at TD Garden. Just his last game at TD Garden ever. As someone who grew up watching this guy, watching this goalie make incredible save after incredible save, pulling teams like the Penguins and the Golden Knights, and even now, everything that he's doing with the Wild. Dude's in his 40s and he's still playing amazing. Everything that he has contributed to this sport is... you can't replace it. You can't replace a player like him. And so when Fleury eventually takes the ice for the final time, I will tip my hat to him. And I do tip my hat to him for this game. But with all that being said, puck drops and we get vintage Bruins. And by vintage Bruins, I mean vintage 2024-2025 Bruins. In that the Wild start off hot, keeping the puck pretty much entirely in the Bruins zone. And the Bruins don't even get their first shot on goal until 9.5 minutes into the game. I think by the end of this game, everybody on the Bruins had a good night. There's only one exception, and we'll get to him. This is not how you start a game. This isn't how you start a game. I don't care if they're missing Kaprizov. They still have good players that can easily score on you. You give Joel Eriksson 1 inch, he takes a mile. So starting off the first 9.5 minutes without a single shot on goal felt frustrating. But by the end of the period, the Bruins had the shot lead, 11-6, and immediately I knew that this was going to be a fun game because all night it was Swayman makes an amazing save, and then Fleury makes an amazing save. Swayman played like a $10 million goalie tonight, and Fleury looks like he just jumped into a time hole and rewound the clock to 2017. Both of them were making saves that would make Brodeur, Hasek, and Waugh blush. But eventually, somebody has to break the ice. Anybody up for a plate of pasta? With a beautiful shot. Gets deflected by McAvoy, so McAvoy gets credited for it. But honestly, it was the entire Bruins on this shift. McAvoy and Lohrei, oh my god. I thought that Lohrei and Peak was the best defensive pairing that we had. No, you gotta put McAvoy with Lohrei more. This was so much fun. Their offensive skills kept the puck deep in the Wild zone and forced them to keep playing low to the ground. And eventually, Patra gets it and squirts the puck out to Pasta. Pasta fires it on net, and McAvoy's there to deflect it. That really was like the only way that you could score on Fleury at that point. But the Bruins don't stop there, because you know who was due for one? Frederic. And another one that Patra assists on. And Frederic going top shelf, hits the back crossbar, and it pops out. Bruins up 2-0. And it's still so much fun. It's not just that the Bruins are winning, and it's not just that the Bruins are winning against a team that's better than them. It's that this game, for the entire time, feels so competitive. And the Bruins, for the first time all season, look like they actually have an offensive spark. And I know, they've scored 6 goals on teams in the past. Yes. And most recently, like, last game against the Rangers. But I am still grading that one on a curve, because the Rangers suck right now. And I already played the Mario Party miss theme. You already know that the Rangers suck right now. But, wow. I did not expect the Bruins to come out this hard. And throughout the third period, you could cut the tension with a knife. The Bruins are playing amazingly. The Wild, John Merrill and Jonas Brodin are putting in insane amounts of work. Kustadinov is playing out of his mind. It feels like the Bruins are in cruise control. But they can't rest just yet. One player. And I told you we'd get to him. Oliver Wahlstrom. Listen, I know he was put on waivers. I know that realistically we shouldn't really expect him to be a world beater. 2 offensive zone penalties, and immediately after getting out of the second one, you take the puck on a breakaway, nobody in front of you, kick your feet up, have a spotty, why don't you? And you hit it off the post. I don't know if Sweeney just loves trying to make every single failed first-round pick his reclamation project, or if he just loves local guys. Either way, it kind of makes sense. You gotta stop it. You know who would be a lot better suited for this job? I already made a frickin' short on both of them. Either one of those guys. You better thank your lucky stars that Brandon Carlo is as much of a defensive beast as he was. Is him, and believe it or not, Nikita Zadorov. Zadorov played amazing tonight. Legitimately his best game in a Spoke B. And this is the Zadorov I thought we were going to get for the entire, for all 6 years. And I'm hoping that we see more of this. I need to see more of this before I can expect more of this from Zadorov, if you catch what I'm saying. But the two of them kill like a collective minute and a half by just keeping guys posted up on the end boards. And in the Ford F-150 Final 5, you know that anything can really happen. So killing a minute 30 of that is kind of crucial. And the cherry on top, the cross ice snipe from Morgan Geekie. Fires it. It gets so much airtime, it's still fluttering in the air by the time that it hits net. And the Bruins walk away 3-0. You gotta give a round of applause to everybody here. The offense did amazing. The defense did amazing. Swayman played phenomenal. Coming off of a win like this, I gotta be honest, I expect the best from you guys. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Because I know you can do crazy stuff like this. And that's going to be it for me tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.